So I just found out my wife, of over 8 years, is having a 6-month-long affair with her gym trainer, who turns out to be like 20 years older than she is. It's ridiculous. We have 2 kids together, and she's ready to throw away everything to be with this guy who's promising to give her the world. Come on, I make more money than he does. How is he gonna give her the world? I'm going to go to her dad. I'm gonna say, hey, you know what, Mr. In-law, your daughter is doing something really messed up, and I think you should know about it. And the reason this is so important, guys, is because he's a very strict man. The second that he learns his daughter is having an affair, he's going to lose it. He's going to take away all benefits that he's been giving her, and she's going to lose her mind. And this little fairy tale that she has in her mind is going to just poof, vanish, just like that. So let's get started. Hey guys, I've been a lurker here for a while now, reading your stories and gathering strength from this community. Never thought I'd be writing my own posts, but here we are. This is long, but I need to get it all out. Maybe it'll help someone else going through the same hell that I've been going through. My name's Jeffrey, and until 6 months ago, I thought I had a pretty solid marriage. Linda and I have been together for over a decade. 8 years married, with 2 beautiful children who are my entire world. We met in our late 20s, both established in our careers, both wanting the same things from life, or so I thought. See, this past year has been tough, I'll admit it. Work stress, kid stress, financial pressure, you name it. We were dealing with it. We had our share of arguments about stupid things like whose turn it was to do bedtime routines, or why I forgot to pick up milk again. But nothing, and I mean nothing, that would make me think Linda would do what she did. Looking back now, the signs were obvious. About 6 months before D-Day, Linda started becoming distant. At first, it was subtle. She would be on her phone more during dinner, she would go to bed earlier, claiming exhaustion, and she just stopped asking about my day or sharing details about hers. When I tried to, initiate, she'd have a headache or be too tired. I chalked it up of us being parents of young children. Isn't everybody exhausted when we're parents? But then the distance became, greater. I don't know how to explain it. Like, she would take her phone with her to the bathroom, she would step outside for work calls in the evening hours, and she started going to the gym at really weird times, coming back showered and dressed differently than what she left in, and her phone was suddenly password protected when it never was before. I started blaming myself right away. Was I not attentive enough? Had I let myself go? Was I not romantic anymore? I'd lie awake at night, cataloging my failures as a hobby. I worked too much, I didn't help enough with the kids, I forgot our anniversary that one year. 3 years ago, but guilt has no statute of limitations, I was drowning in self-doubt. One evening after the kids were in bed, I couldn't take it anymore. I sat Linda down and asked her point blank, "What's going on with us? You seem so distant lately." She looked me dead in the eyes with her cold brown eyes I didn't recognize and said, I'm just not happy, Jeffrey. I don't feel that spark anymore. We're just roommates." Roommates? 8 years of marriage, 2 kids, a whole life built together, and she's reduced us to roommates? I panicked. Full-on panic, eternal meltdown panic type thing. I immediately launched into fix-it mode. Promising to be better, to do more, to be more, and I suggested date nights, couple retreats, anything to save us, and she just shrugged her shoulders and said she needs space to think. Well, the next day, I was working from home when Linda left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered. It buzzed with a message, and the preview showed on the screen, "Can't wait to hold you again, my love. Last night was incredible," with a wink emoji. My heart stopped. I could literally feel it stop in my chest for a moment. I know I shouldn't have, but I picked up her phone because it was unlocked. The timer was 5 minutes. She's been in such a hurry she forgot to lock it. And what I found destroyed me. Messages, hundreds and hundreds of messages between Linda and Perry. Someone named Perry. 6 months worth of I love yous. I've never felt this way before. When we're finally together, pictures, plans for a future that did not include me or our children. Details about their encounters that made me physically sick. Perry. Even his name made me want to punch the wall. He was her CrossFit coach, because of course he was. Divorced twice, no kids, 15 years older than Linda. The messages I showed, well, he's been feeding her every cliche line in the cheater's handbook. Oh, your husband doesn't appreciate you like I do. What we have, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, babe. Age doesn't matter when the soul connects. Well, I sat on the bathroom floor and I just cried and sobbed. I mean, the kind of crying where you can't breathe and snot is everywhere, and you don't care because your world just imploded. But then something shifted. Maybe it was all these posts I've read on this sub, but I realized I needed to be smart about this. I obviously couldn't just confront her in an emotional rage. I needed a plan. I spent the next 3 days in information gathering mode. I screenshot everything, every message, every photo, every declaration of love. I documented the timeline, matching it up with all those work emergencies and girls' nights and gym sessions. The gym sessions were real. Yep, turns out she just wasn't working out the way I thought. I contacted 3 divorce lawyers that same day. The first 2 were sharks who wanted to destroy her, take everything, salt the earth with her wound. But the third, Jordan, he was different. He was calm, he was practical, and focused on what was best for the kids. He said, listen, Jeffrey, you can go all scorched earth mode like most people want, or you can be strategic about it, man. What's your end goal here? Well, my end goal? To get through this with my dignity intact and my kids as unharmed as possible. I put Jordan on retainer and spent the next 2 days getting my ducks in a row. Separate bank accounts established, important documents copied, exit strategies planned. I even found a therapist, Sab, who specializes in infidelity trauma. Then I confronted Linda. I waited until the kids were at my parents' house for the weekend. I made dinner, her favorite pasta dish, which in hindsight was probably really weird, but I needed something to do with my hands. Linda, are you having an affair? I saw the messages with Perry. The color drained from her face and she tried to deny it for about 32 seconds before crumbling. And you know what she said? She said it was the deepest emotional connection she's ever experienced, deeper than anything that we've ever done, deeper than our family. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to. Yeah, bullcrap. Affairs don't just happen. Every text was a choice. Every message was a choice. Every meeting was a choice. Every lie was a choice. And 6 months of choices that prioritize Perry over the family. I laid out my boundaries clear as day. Complete no contact with Perry today. Full transparency with all devices and accounts and messages and profiles. And marriage counseling, of course. And testing for the both of us. She tells her family the truth about why our marriage is in a crisis. And I might forgive her. You want to know Linda's response? She gets angry. Angry at me. She said I was being controlling and manipulative. She actually said she needed to see Perry one more time for closure. If Perry is so important that you can't cut him off right now, this instant, then pack a spin-a-night bag and go live with him, I said to her. She backed down but called me an a-hole. She sent Perry a goodbye text while I watched. She said, I can't see you anymore. Please don't contact me. But the look in her eyes was pure resentment. I knew in that moment she would find another way to contact him. I was right. Despite her show of compliance, Linda could not let Perry go. She starts deleting messages, using apps I didn't know about, Snapchat, taking calls in her car. The woman who'd share everything with me for a decade became a master spy overnight. I mean, come on, a 40-year-old woman using Snapchat? We started counseling with Sab, and I'll give the therapist credit, she was incredible. She didn't take sides, didn't assign blame, just helped us navigate the absolute crap show our life has become. She helped uncover issues in our marriage that has been festering. My workaholism, Linda needs for validation, our complete failure just to prioritize our relationship after kids. But here's the thing none of this, really justifies an affair for. See, Sab made that clear. Affairs are not about the betrayed partner or even the marriage. They're about the unfaithful partner's inability to deal with their issues in a healthy way. Linda hated hearing it. She wanted the affair to be my fault somehow. If I'd been more attentive, more romantic, more present, she would not have had to find comfort elsewhere. But that's not how it works. If she was unhappy, she could have talked to me, could have insisted on counseling, could have even asked for a divorce. Instead, she chose deception. After catching more secret messages between her and Perry, I made the cold-hearted decision that would change everything. I filed for divorce. The filing I'll never forget, Linda's face when she was served the papers. I'd given her a heads up that morning, told her to expect something at work and please not make a scene. But seeing those papers, seeing it in black and white that I was serious about ending our marriage, it broke something in her. She came home that night in hysterics. "You're really going to throw away our family over this? The kids are going to be devastated. How can you be so cold?" The gaslighting was unreal. I'm throwing away our family. I'm being cold? She's been planning a future with Perry while sleeping in our bed, eating at our table, and playing happy family at school events. But here's where things get interesting. I made a strategic decision. To tell Linda's father. That's right, I ratted. I told Linda's father absolutely everything. My father-in-law and I had always been close. He treated me like the son that he never had. When I told him about the affair, showed him the evidence, he was disgusted. Not at me, at Linda. See, he said she was raised better than this. "Whatever you need from us, Jeffrey, you've got it. Those grandbabies need at least one parent thinking clear." The support of her family shifted something inside of Linda. Like, suddenly her fantasy bubble burst. Perry wasn't going to go ride in on a white horse and save her. Her parents weren't going to take her side, and the kids were going to know eventually that mommy broke up the family. Reality hits like a freight train. The divorce process was surprisingly straightforward. We live in a no-fault state, so the infidelity didn't really matter legally, even though it mattered everything emotionally. Jordan was a godsend, practical, efficient, and focused on getting us to a fair agreement. So we agreed on 50-50 custody, completely split. The kids needed both their parents regardless of what had happened between us. We split the assets straight down the middle. The house would be sold, profits divided, retirement account split. The mediation took 3 sessions to dismantle 8 years of marriage. Linda tried to reconcile during this period. The affair fog started to lift, and she began to see Perry for what he was, a serial cheater who targeted a vulnerable married woman. She found out he was already pursuing another married woman at the gym. Shocking, right? She starts saying all the right things. "I made the terrible mistake. You're the love of my life. The kids need us together. I'll do anything to fix this." But here's what I learned from this internet thing and from Sab. Reconciliation only works if both parties are fully committed, and if the unfaithful partner does the heavy lifting. Linda wanted to sweep it all under the rug, to go back to normal, and to pretend Perry never happened. She couldn't understand why I couldn't just get over it. Get over it? Get over 6 months of lies? Get over the mental movies of her with him? Get over the fact that while I was putting our kids to bed, she was texting another man, "I love you"? Get over the complete destruction of trust? Sure, Linda, I'll get right on it. The divorce was finalized exactly 3 months ago. Those months of separation while living in the same house were torture. We were civil for the kids, even managed some family dinners and bedtime routines together, but the person I'd shared everything with for a decade was now a stranger who happened to live in my home. I threw myself into recovery, started therapy with Sab individually. I hit the gym so hard, not to win Linda back, but to have something physical to pour my anger and hurt into. I lost 20 pounds, gained muscle, and started feeling like myself again. The physical transformation helped with the mental one. It's like one and one, they go together. I leaned on friends I've neglected during the marriage. Turns out several of them suspected Linda was cheating but didn't know how to tell me. They rallied around me. See, they were checking in daily, dragging me out when I wanted to wallow and letting me vent the same stories over and over. The kids are doing okay. We told them mommy and daddy loved them very much but could not live together anymore. We didn't tell them why. They're too young for that burden, and someday they'll probably figure it out. But for now, we're just two parents who live in a different house. Oh, Linda? Perry? They lasted about 2 months after the divorce was final. Once the excitement of sneaking around was gone, once she was actually available, he lost interest. She texted me when it ended, looking for sympathy, but I didn't respond. If you're reading this because you've just discovered an affair, here's what I want you to do. Don't do the pick-me dance. See, I spent exactly 1 week trying to compete with Perry before I realized how pathetic that was. You shouldn't have to convince your significant other to choose your affair. Well, come on, choose you over them? If they don't see your worth, that's on them. Come on, that's a red flag. Lawyer up, like right away. Get a good family lawyer, an attorney, not just any attorney, somebody who understands family law, who's realistic about outcomes, and who won't encourage you to go nuclear, unless necessary. Jordan saved me from making emotional decisions that would have hurt me legally. Oh yeah, and go ahead, document everything. Every text, every email, every suspicious charge on the credit card. You might not need it, but if you do, you'll be glad you have it. And lean on your support system. This is not a time to be proud or private. Tell trusted friends and family what's really happening. You need people in your corner. Take care of yourself physically because the mentalness ties in with physical. Exercise, it saved my sanity. It gave me an outlet for rage, boosted my confidence, and reminded me that I could control something when everyone else thought it was just chaos. I'm just gonna say what everyone else says because yes, it does help some people. Get therapy. Trust your gut. When Linda sent that goodbye text to Perry, my gut said that she'd find a way to contact him, and I was right. Your instincts are probably right, usually all the time. Well, the affair is 100% on them. Whatever problems existed in your marriage, an affair is not the solution. Linda made hundreds of choices over 6 months to betray our marriage. That's on her. Not me. So this is where I'm at now, and I want people to pay attention to this. I'm in a new apartment, smaller than a home, but it's mine. The kids have their rooms here decorated how they want. We've made new traditions, pancakes on a Saturday morning with chocolate chip, movie nights on Friday, and of course hiking on Sundays when the weather permits. I'm not dating yet. Sab says I need to heal first, to figure out who I am outside of being Linda's husband. She's right, I'm rediscovering hobbies I'd abandoned, reconnecting with old friends and being the kind of dad I want to be rather than stressed and the distracted one that I've become. Some days are hard, harder than others. I'll hear a song we danced to at our wedding or find one of her hair ties in a jacket pocket, and that grief starts to hit fresh. The future I planned, it's gone. The person I trusted most in this world has betrayed me in the worst way possible, and that leaves a deep eternal scar. But some days are good. I mean, like really good. Without that knot in my stomach, I laugh with my kids without forcing it. I make plans that don't involve checking if Linda's okay with them, and I'm free from the constant anxiety of wondering where she is, who she's with, and if she's lying. Linda still texts occasionally, usually late at night, usually after wine. She misses us. She made a mistake. Perry meant nothing. Can we try again? I didn't respond anymore. Jordan says to keep the text in case she escalates, but otherwise ignore them. Perry? He's moved on to his next victim, from what I hear. Some other married woman at the gym who's unhappy and vulnerable. I thought about warning her husband, but decided it was not my circus anymore. Perry will always be Perry. Cheaters will always cheat. So yes, if you're in the thick of it right now, know this, it gets better. Not like quickly, not easily, but it does get better. The person who cheated on you is not the person you thought you married. That person either never existed or is gone, so mourn them, then move forward. Don't let anyone tell you to just get over it, or that it was just, hook up. Or think of the children. Your pain is valid, your anger is justified, and your decision to stay or go is yours alone. If you choose divorce, like I did, know that you'll survive it. You'll even thrive eventually. If you choose to reconcile, make sure it's real. Come on, not just rug sweeping. The unfaithful partner needs to do the work. They need to figure out why they chose to cheat, how they gave themselves permission, and how they'll ensure it never happens again. But for me, Divorce was the right choice. I couldn't look at Linda without seeing her with Perry. I couldn't trust her when she said she was going to the store, and I could not be intimate with someone who's given themselves to someone else while wearing my ring. Maybe that makes me weak or unforgiving, but I prefer to think it makes me someone who knows his worth. The best revenge is not revenge, really. It's living well. It's being the stable parent that your kid needs. It's rediscovering who you are outside of a broken relationship. It's that moment when your cheating ex texts that they miss you, and you realize you don't miss them at all. I'm not there yet, not completely, but I'm closer every single day. And if you're reading this while your whole world burns down, well, know that you'll get there too. The fire eventually burns out, and from the ashes you can build something new, something better, something yours. To everybody in this sub who posts their stories and offers advice and creates this space for those of us dealing with infidelity, thank you. You helped post my sanity and probably my life. When I was drowning, you threw me a lifeline, and now I'm trying to do the same for others. Well, if anybody needs to talk, needs advice, or just needs someone to tell them they'll survive this, message me down below in the comments. We're all on this horrible club nobody wanted to join, but at least we're not alone. Stay strong, friends. Better days are ahead. Edits. Thank you for the support messages and awards. To answer a couple questions before I go, yes, I'm still in therapy. No, Linda and I are never getting back together. Yes, the kids are in therapy too. Perry is still at the gym, but I've switched to a different one. Linda's parents still support me and are disappointed in her, and yes, I know I'll eventually need to date again, but that's a future me problem. The Jeffrey now is chillin'. I'm just hanging out, focusing on being a good dad and healing like I should be. So yeah, not every story has a bad ending. Guys, today's story was nuts. It had some good information towards the end. If you're struggling with the same type of situation, the best thing you can do is talk about it with someone that you're close to. Just let them know everything, and if that person truly cares about you, they'll listen. Here is 2 comments, and like always, one is against OP and the other one supports OP. The first one says this: honestly, Jeffrey, reading this makes me think you threw away your marriage without even trying to understand why Linda stayed in the first place. You admit yourself you were inattentive as a husband, a workaholic per se, who forgot anniversaries and did not help with the kids. Yet when she finally breaks and finds some emotional support elsewhere, you immediately go nuclear. Marriage is a complex, and while I do not condone an affair, sometimes there are symptoms of a relationship no longer working that both parties contributed to taking out. You hired a lawyer with days after finding out. That tells me you were looking for an exit rather than a solution. I mean, it's clear as day. Your wife made a mistake, yes, almost everybody can agree with that, but she was clearly crying out for attention and affection that you were not providing for years. The fact that you're already hitting the gym and talking about thriving shows me you're more interested in winning the breakup than actually processing what went wrong so it doesn't happen again. You said you documented everything like this is some school project, like a detective, instead of approaching this like a husband who supposedly loved his wife. Give me a break. Perry was obviously a symptom, not the cause. The cause was your neglect and taking your wife for granted. She tried to tell you she was unhappy, but you only started caring when another man was involved. Your kids are now, in a broken home because you could not swallow your pride and work through this with your wife instead of against her. Maybe if you'd shown half the dedication to your marriage that you showed to, destroying it, Linda never would have looked elsewhere for the emotional connection that you failed to provide. All right, guys, so that comment was very clearly against OP, and I just want to know your thoughts on it. The second comment, it says, "Are you kidding me?" Replying to the first comment. Are you kidding me with this victim-blaming crap? Second chances, Jeffrey was working to provide for his family while Linda was planning a future with her gym boy toy. There's no excuse for 6 months of calculated deception and betrayal. Being an imperfect spouse doesn't give anyone license to have an affair. Period. Full stop. Well, end of discussion. Linda had a million options before cheating. Communication, counseling, separation, divorce, but she chose the most destructive, selfish path possible. She exposed Jeffrey to possible diseases, gaslit him into thinking that he was the crazy one in this situation, and was ready to destroy their children's stable home for some twice-divorced dude who was already chasing his next married victim. The fact that Jeffrey handled this with strategy and dignity instead of going scorched earth, it shows incredible restraint and what I call maturity. I call it maturity. He tried counseling, he gave her chances to cut contact, and she still could not stop messaging Perry. That's not a mistake. That's a choice that she made hundreds of times over the 6-month count. Working too much or forgetting an anniversary 3 years ago doesn't equal messing around with your CrossFit coach while your husband puts your children to bed. Are you kidding me? Jeffrey documented everything because that's what smart people do when they realize they're married to a liar, a con artist, who will try to manipulate the narrative. Linda was not crying out for attention like you said. She was a selfish coward who wanted the security of marriage, the blanket of security, while getting her thrill elsewhere. Oh, and now she's facing the consequences. Jeffrey's children are better off with divorced parents than growing up watching their mother disrespect their father, while Dad desperately does the pick-me dance, as OP called it, for someone who called another man her deepest connection ever. Give me a break! Wow. So these were two very interesting comments. Some of the comment from the first comment actually had some pretty good points, but I'm going to have to side with the second comment. I mean, you just can't support a cheater. Let me know your thoughts about this, guys. Drop it down below in our comment section. And as always, if you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more stories, and hit the other button down below. It's an interesting button. YouTube just added it. And if you hit that other button, it's going to help this channel grow. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow, so hype this video up. And of course, remember one thing. It's cool to be kind. Peace.